Okay. It's golden hour. We're out here camping next to the Hoozall Creek. I brought the FS5 with me to test out. Yeah. I brought the FS5 with me to test out versus the A6500. I haven't really gotten the A6500 out because it's just been too beautiful and too much fun chasing Agnes around with the FS5 and too beautiful out here. So I don't know, the A6500 is $1,500 and the FS5 is currently $5,500. I don't know if it's worth the extra cost for the extra features. I think the image quality is about the same. The record time is certainly longer. Hey, come back. Excuse me. Anyway, this is my review of the Sony FS5. I rented it from Lens Rentals and I wanted to check it out and give it a whirl before I decided to purchase one. So I'm going to put it together real quick. The removable top handle has an extra XLR adapter in it and various mounting points for the LCD screen. There's the LCD. Plugs in right over there. Fully articulating there. Then have the side handle. Pops on and off just like a lens. Plugs in down there. It's got all your menu controls, start, stop, record, punch in, zoom, rocker if you're using lenses that have built-in power zoom. I also rented a Vedra Mini Prime to go with it. So there we go. Lens Rental set this big honking battery that's so far been able to record all day, every day. So there we go. That's the FS5 and that's what it looks like. Okay, so there it is, all assembled. Cool features. Number one, buttons. You know, the A6500 that I'm recording on now doesn't have a whole lot of buttons. You have to use the function to dive into your menu options. One thing I like is this high, medium, and low switch right here. 3 clicks on this as to what I want my ISO to be. So I set the low one to be ISO 800, then 1250, then 3200. So I can adjust and change a bunch of stuff on the fly. Like if I'm going inside or outside or lighting conditions are changing. I really like this auto iris button. I also really like this auto iris button. Sort of helps you get a base exposure. You know what I dig about this thing is the auto iris push. So with my sunglasses on and this screen and the brightness, there's no way I can judge correct exposure. So I just push auto exposure. And if I'm a complete tool, I can get this full auto button. Then the other great selling point is the variable ND filter. You set this thing with this dial here and your ND goes up and down from 1/4 to 1/128th, I believe. Pretty good variable ND filter. You don't have to put one out here on the lens. I think my B+W one only covers 5 or 6 stops. This covers a lot more. And there goes my air conditioning. So I don't know if the FS5 is worth the extra cost for the few extra features that it has. What's wrong with your diaper? Oh, it's fallen off. Why are we recording that? Oh no. Let me put it back on you. No. Okay, naked baby. Go sit on that. Sit on the towel. All right, we'll continue this review later. Okay, so variable ND filter is really nice. The extended recording time is nice. The viewfinder here, meh. The A6500 viewfinder is better, and the A7S viewfinder is far better. Battery life goes all day, fills up a 64 gigabyte memory card or two. I like this grip. I like the top handle, the record buttons. I like the built-in audio, so I can put my Rode NTG3 on here, or I can run a cable out of this second XLR port and do a boom with the Rode NT5 on it for interior dialogue. You get to adjust all your levels right here. Plug your headphones in. You don't have to worry about a second either Zoom or sound devices recorder. I like the sensor. It's different. It's the same size as the A6500 sensor, but it's different. I believe it's from the Sony FS5 or something. It's the same sensor as in the FS7, higher end, little bit older sensor. It looks really good in color grading. I've been shooting Cine 1 Pro and Cine 4 and grading with Film Convert. Haven't tried out the S-Log yet. I generally don't shoot S-Log because I don't think 100 megabits a second is enough space for S-Log. If I was going to do that, or S-Log 3, if I was going to do that, I would go with the FS7, which records to the QXD cards. So, anyway, here's the thing. I like this. It's currently on sale or there's a mail-in rebate, so it ends up being $4,700 versus the $1,400 of the A6500. It's not doing enough magic with image quality, and normally if I was recording an interview, I would be doing two system sound anyway. I would have the sound devices recording the audio and have the camera just recording video. For run and gun, I chased Agnes around with it on our camping trip and at the playground. Works pretty well. I've gotten kind of used to the autofocus on the A6500. It's currently not autofocusing. It's locked in to focus on this camera, so I might be a little bit soft. But I've gotten used to the autofocus on the A6500, and I like being able to push the... I've got it set up so I push the back button, and it kicks on the autofocus. This does that too with this push autofocus button. Or no, sorry. Push autofocus button here. But the autofocus is worse than the A7S, and so it doesn't really keep up with anything. Even in an interview situation, I would hit the autofocus button on that to get head locked in and then, you know, double check it and start rolling. This, I don't feel like the autofocus is fast enough to be usable for anything. And I guess it's a cinema camera and you shouldn't be using autofocus anyway, but all of the Canon C cameras I've used have snappy autofocus. I was shooting with the C300. All the Canon C cameras that I've used have super snappy autofocus. I was shooting with the C300 last week, and that was trust it to keep your subject in focus no matter what. I never saw that drift out of focus. So I don't know. Is it worth the price of entry? Yeah, it would be nice to be able to record for more than a half hour, but those are very few and far between situations. It would be nice to have audio and video go into the same memory card, so you don't have to sync it in post. But I don't know, is that worth the price of admission? I think you have to ask yourself what type of story you're telling, and you know, if it's just a question of image quality for short clips, A6500 all the way. It's smaller, easier to deal with, easier to balance on the gimbal. The autofocus is trustworthy enough for gimbal use. I didn't even try the 10-bit 1080p footage because I shoot everything in 4K. So maybe the answer for like better image quality is to jump all the way to the FS7. That's a little bit more expensive though. Also, I think it's just a good idea when there's a need for this camera or a need for the FS7, just to get on lensrentals.com and rent it from there. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. Hey, Lens Rentals, sponsor me. But yeah, I think this is a camera that I will continue to rent if the job requires it. And, you know, now I've shot on it. I love the image quality. I love the way it looks and the way it grades. Is it better than A7S II or A6500? Maybe a little bit. It's not any sharper, doesn't have any better resolution, but it does have, there's something different there. So rent one for yourself, compare it to your A6500, and let me know. Anyway, that's my quick review of the Sony FS5, and now I'm going to pack it up and FedEx it back to Lens Rentals. Thanks. Are you camping?
I'm camping.
You're camping?
Yeah.
Can you take your binky out and say, I'm camping? I'm camping. Good job. Throw it in there.
What's wrong? Here you go. I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about?
Here you go.
Thanks. You brought me some sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This one?
Can you throw them in that pile over there? Right over here in this golden hour light. No, keep coming. Keep coming. Oh, golden hour. Okay, look at the camera. The camera's over here. Okay, let's walk towards the camera. All right, everybody, the A6300 is in the car, but I'm having too much fun playing with the FS5 out here, and it's too beautiful to do a camera review.